Hello, can you hear me?
Sir, yes, sir, you are visible. And
Hello, visible. Can you hear me also?
yes, sir. Yes, sir, you are audible too.
Uh, okay. You know, just keep talking.
Yes, sir.
Keep talking.
Your voice is little slow. Means it is not that much loud.
Yeah.
Now it
The
is good.
reason is that I'm going to just switch over now to my earphone and the microphone here. Okay.
Hmm.
Otherwise, this is I'm speaking to you from the laptop microphone, and the speaker in the laptop is working. That is not very audible for me also. So let me just switch over to this, and let me see if things work for me.
Okay, sir. 1 second, sir. Hello.
Hello. Hello. Hello. Hello.
Yes, sir.
There is, I think, some problem with my, hearing.
Now I am not able to hear you, sir.
Hello?
Yeah, with your earphone only I can hear you. Otherwise, I can't hear you.
Yeah.
Now you are audible.
You can hear me now?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay.
Your desktop has problem with the
Okay.
earphone
I
only.
think I will just stay with the present setup as it is.
Mm-hmm.
Dr. Rao, very good afternoon and a very happy new year to you.
Yes, sir. Same to you. How are you, sir?
I am fine. Where are you? Hyderabad?
Hyderabad only, sir. Hyderabad only, sir.
Oh, okay, good, good.
Yeah. Nidhi, I
Yes,
think
sir.
I'm clear to you. No, there is no problem. No.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. You are clear.
Just can I share PPT and again come back so that now you can understand whether I can share or not.
Okay. I will make you a co-host. You can share.
Yeah, yeah. Samay, ama visual tra. Can I share now?
Uh, yes, sir.
Share. ఇది కదా? Share.
Happy New Year.
Okay, now?
Yes, sir. Can you make it full screen, sir? Yes,
Full
sir.
screen. I made full screen now. Okay.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Now unshare again. Okay. No problem.
Okay, okay, sir. Okay.
Share. Stop. Stop. Okay. ఇది ఇంకా అవసరం లేదనా అటు మళ్ళీ షేర్ అన్నప్పుడు వెళ్ళిపోతుంది డైరెక్ట్గా అది కిందకు వచ్చింది
Sir, I have gone through your PPT. It is very interesting, sir. It is really,
గుడ్ ఇట్ ఈస్
it is really very interesting PPT. I really,
గుడ్ నైస్ Sir, from Bangalore, Ramakrishna sir, you are in Bangalore only?
Yes, yes, yes. Give me a minute. I'm going to come back and
Yeah, okay, sir.
संतोष जी कैसे
Good
हैं?
afternoon.
गुड आफ्टरनून,
Sanjay
गुड
ji.
आफ्टरनून,
Sir, good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
गुड आफ्टरनून.
Happy New Year.
शशि जी गुड आफ्टरनून. आप म्यूट पे हैं. यू आर ऑन म्यूट.
संजय जी, आपको देखते ही मेरा आधा स्टेज फियर कम हो गया.
अरे वाह. हाँ, आप कहाँ पे हैं? बैंगलोर.
Kamaraj join.
audio.
So I think we can start.
Yeah, I guess so.
So, before we start, I would only like to make one, I would like to share one information or make an announcement that IFGE CBG Producers Forum is organizing a workshop on 17th. It's a physical workshop in Delhi, India Habitat Center. You will get the invite or link. Basically, we have been working on various aspects with ministries, different ministries, for CBG to make it more, what you call sustainable and to make it financially viable for developers. So various policy related discussions have happened in the past with different ministries. Some of the policies have already been announced, some are in work in progress, including pricing, including FOM, including grid connectivity. So we have submitted a detailed document to MNRE based on their request, and we are in discussion with them, also with MoPNG on various issues. So to have a detailed, what you call information dissemination and discussion and to exchange ideas on those aspects, we are having this workshop on 17th, which will be very important for industry to join and understand the different aspects with respect to viability of a plant, whether you can earn money from finance, pricing of the CBG, whether you can earn money from FOM, whether green credits can be a source of good revenue. So then there are different aspects on which CBG can be, CBG investment can be based upon. So you can please join that important workshop. And we have a small hall, a limited seats. So as soon as you confirm, you can get your participation ensured. And you will meet lots of important people who have been working on these aspects since last 2.5 years. So announcement over from my side. So I will request Shashi Hegde ji to please take over and moderate the session.
Sir, good afternoon and welcome. And this is part of the series IFG has been really sharing the knowledge across India over direct communication and as well as on YouTube. The previous sessions are available. Now, this part of the session, we have come across various topics like the very basics, the basic economics, So we are maturing on the topic, and today's topic is how to improve our biodigester sustainability and efficiency. So basically, the gas is something which is granted. It's a natural process. Biodegradation will ultimately produce the carbon dioxide and methane, and methane is, of course, useful. But the whole of the sustainability depends on the efficiency factor. So we are going to discuss on that. So I'm very much privileged and honored to welcome Shri Y.B. Ramakrishna sir. He happens to be very vocal and probably the whole of the CBG tree. He is the seed, like he has been working since last 35 years, even when we were in colleges. So since then, he has been promoting bioenergy. IFGE is Indian Federation of Green Energy, uh, working towards all aspects. And his Ramakrishna sir is the vice president, senior vice president there, and founding. And in IFGE CBG forum, he is the one of the promoter and chairperson, and he is part of working group formed by Ministry of Petroleum, and he was also the cause when Karnataka started its biofuel board. So I would not take too much of time. Over to you, Sir Ramakrishna sir, for your setting the forum for further discussion.
Yeah, thank you very much, Shashi, for that introduction. Good afternoon, and wish you all a happy new year for all the participants. And I welcome you to the third episode of the CBG dialogue being organized by the Indian Federation of Green Energy. And the present episode is focused on, as Shashi said, how to improve your biodigester sustainability and efficiency part of it. As I see it, there are several aspects to the sustainability and efficiency of the digester. I think it all starts with the quality of the feedstock that we are going to be giving it. And again, the other important aspect is that in what form and the factor in with which we are feeding it to the digester. As I see it, yeah, each of the different type of feedstock that we are talking about requires some kind of a pre-treatment to be done before it goes into the digester. So to ensure that maximum organic matter is available for conversion. So when specifically when we are talking about agricultural residues, it is very important that we break the lignin cellulosic bond, and more of cellulose is available for conversion. So how do we do that? What are all the different kind of pathways by which it can be done? So these are some of the aspects that we really need to look into. And one other thing that we assume and we have just accepted is that the methane percentage in any digester will be somewhere around 60 to 65%. Once again, I believe that it is possible for us to increase the methane percentage with the right, microbial consortia. Most of the time we are just looking at methanogens, which is available to us from the cow dung. But I think, different kind of microbial consortia, right kind of consortium for different feedstock, the percentage of methane itself can possibly be enhanced. So we have to really look at how do we maximize the methane production and the recovery. Even when we are talking about ultimately upgrading the biogas to methane, there is always some loss of methane, when we are trying to upgrade it. How do we reduce it so that our profitability, sustainability of the whole project can be achieved? And I hope that the three speakers that we have today, Dr. Gangagni Rao and Santosh, Gondhalekar and Kamaraj, each one has a lot of research and industrial experience, and they will be able to throw light on today's topic. And there will be meaningful discussions after this, and Shashi will be moderating the whole sessions. So I will stop at that, and I think it is time for us to listen to the today's speakers.
Yeah, thank you, sir. Ramakrishna, sir. With all your experience, we request you to stay back for the question and answer session. It's probably another 40-45 minutes. Now I call upon Dr. Gangagni Rao. He's from Hyderabad, and he's the chairperson of Department of Energy and Environment Engineering in Chemical Technology in Hyderabad. That is his designation. But the most critical part of the whole story is he has established over 35 CBG on biogas projects. And much more than that, his name and his projects were mentioned in the Man Ki Baat of Prime Minister. So that is something we all would love to achieve. So a very national recognition kind of thing. And that comes through a very core level of dedicated research and commitment. We all know CSTR, which is the reactors. CSTR we know, plug flow we know, UASB we know. Gangagni Raoji has designed and established a reactor called anaerobic gas lift reactor. So, which is something we very few would have studied who went into depth. So I would not take too much of time. I would like to leave the forum for Dr. Gangagni Rao. Sir, welcome to the FG program.
Yeah. Thank you, sir. Thank you, Shashi sir, for your nice introduction. I'm grateful to you. And I'm thankful primarily to the IFG and Ramakrishna sir, very stalwart in this area, and Miss Nidhi Sahu, who is coordinating with me in this direction. So once again, I think Happy New Year to all of you. I think CBSD is the sector, one sector which is actually grooming like anything in India. Everybody highs like, so many entrepreneurs are coming into this area, and so many inquiries we receive day in and day out actually. So that is the beauty of this sector, which has given tremendous impetus by Government of India. So just I'm sharing my PPT, sir. All of you see it, sir? Full screen?
Yes, sir, it is visible. Go ahead,
Yeah.
sir.
So my today's topic of presentation is, I'll be very, very brief actually. There's so much to talk, but actually I would like to be very brief because considering the topic what Ms. Nidhi has given to me, I would like to brief myself to the area. That is ensuring optimal performance of biodigesters in CBG plants, design consultation, process operations. Sir, actually, Indian biogas program is very old. As old as 1970, it started actually, Ministry of Renewable Energy and KVIC and so many NABARD, so many organizations have involved and developed fixed dome models, floating dome models and all these things. In fact, actually, well before that also, maybe 120 years before, first biogas plant was installed in Bombay. So that is what people say, so many stalwarts in biogas sector say that. So biogas digester took birth in India, but born and brought up in Europe actually. That is what people say actually. So, but the birthplace of biogas digester is in India only actually. So many great people worked in this area actually and developed this design. And it is almost like, around 12 to 15 million family biogas plants, we know, gobar gas plants, what we call. And they are there. And majority of them are working, majority are not working because of variety of reasons, because very simple design it is and suitable for cattle manure and very, very low cost actually even mason can construct. That is the beauty of these digesters. But when it comes to the different waste like poultry waste, organic fraction of MSW, agri waste, and if it comes to the higher quantity also, the digester design may not work perfectly. So that is where actually we have to look at it, the design aspects. And it is actually meant for gobar gas plants and meant for village utilization, very small quantity of cattle manure. So we have to look at that reasons. But what happened is later part of the period, people started actually implementing this technology for any quantity of waste, any type of waste. which is actually not correct. That is why so many failures you can see in biogas plants. Wherever in the olden days, like, for example, 10 years before, if I see, people always think that, biogas technology is a failure technology. This is exactly what is the reason why it got this bad name, actually. But unfortunately, it is not correct, actually, because, at that time, the requirements are different. Now the requirements are different. At that time, the government priorities are different. Now the government priorities are different, actually. So that is how it is actually happened. In parallel, some of you may be knowing about that now. This has actually also taken birth in India, as I think old as 1970, something like that, actually. So many European companies, like, Indian, American companies, Canadian companies, like, Bacardi USA, BFE Canada, Bioteam Belgium, Sulzer Technology, and like, Degrimont, Pack, so many companies came to India, installed their installations, actually. But it didn't happen overnight, actually. They did a lot of research in India along with Indian companies. And since this technology was transferred to companies, companies also took a lot of interest in optimizing this, because the design is from Europe, but actually the consortia is from India. The waste is from India. So we have to treat the waste in India with suitable microbial consortia. Accordingly, we have to make design considerations. That is how actually, so tremendous amount of research has been done, actually, which some of you may be knowing, some of you may not be knowing. Actually, we are recent to the sector. So I witnessed that sector. I worked in this sector almost from 1993. Company called Western Packs India Limited in Pune, actually, who are the pioneers of USB technology, actually, in India. They installed around 50 to 60 plants for this. Like, for example, distillery. There are 300 distilleries at that time. All 300 distilleries were installed these biogas reactors and generating to the tune of 25 to 30,000 meter cube of biogas, which is equal to 12 to 15 tons of CBG in the present case, actually. And very, very successful and very complex experiments, they proved this, actually. And not only Western Packs, other companies also, for example, Degrimont and other companies also, Sulzer, so many people have also done it, actually, in several places, in Maharashtra, Uttar Pradesh, where the sugar sector and distillery sector is very, very dominant. So we have got very good experiences in that area. A lot of learnings are there. Indigenization happened over a period of time, actually. It is not that overnight it happened, actually. Now that actually distillery sector are asked to put incineration plants, that way slowly they are shifting to incineration plants from biogas plants. Despite that fact that biogas plants are being installed for condensate from the incineration, actually. So that is the whole story. And in parallel, it is background, like, it is happening. Very good things are happening in India. And so what I can sum up is that as long as liquid waste digesters are there, we are very, very good. India is self-sustained, and we have got one technologies. Abroad technologies are indigenized for variety of waste like spent wash, rayon-cut pulp mill effluents, food processing industry, sewage, molasses processing industry, everything. And there are around 500 to 600 plants in India, very, very high capacity. You may be aware of that. Whereas solid waste is concerned, now we are back. We are actually stayed back at conventional digesters only. Very little progress happened, actually. So when the suddenly Satat program has been introduced, people started looking at these digesters. One of the digester available is CSTR digester. So CSTR digester originally developed by Sulzer, actually, and it has been several modifications have taken in Europe and in India. Now they are introducing, like, for example, what are the 56 plants so far has been installed, mostly CSIR technology. Because in anaerobic digestion, mixing is very, very important criteria. That is what. But if you look at mixing and if you take that criteria, there is also reports that around 50 to 60% of these mechanical mixers are failed in anaerobic digestion, because the very characteristics of slurry is very highly viscous in nature, and highly viscous in nature depends upon the characteristics of the waste, actually. That's why there are great failures. In addition to that, actually, lot of power consumption. So your maintenance is very, very high. I went to one of the first plant in Varnanagar, Spectrum Renewables, actually. They themselves told me that around 50%, 60% their maintenance cost is coming from energy, power consumption. So which is not actually correct from the perspective of maintenance perspective and all these things and mechanical failures. That is we have to look at very carefully when we are taking the design of the unit digester, and that is what the place the success of the plant actually depends upon these things, actually. As I told you, we are stuck at conventional digester and left side, whereas Europe is actually developed very high rate digesters, very big scale digesters for like 100 tons, 200 tons and all. So our digesters are called conventional digesters and their digesters are called high rate digesters. So the difference is like, for example, hydraulic resistance time. Generally, we use 50 to 60 days. They use 15 to 20 days only. Treatment efficiency less than 50%. They are getting above 80%. And loading rate and for 1 kg per meter cube, 1 kg of COD VS per meter cube per day. Whereas they are going up to 10 kg VS per meter cube per day. And suitable for only small installations of digester and suitable for any size their digesters. High water consumption in our case, little water consumption in their case, and choking and scum formation. That is how most of the conventional digesters failed. Most of the biogas plant failed in India because of this, no? Choking, scum formation, and many operational issues related to that, plainly all these things. And there are no operation problems in European digesters, fully mechanized they are actually, our operation manual. So if you look at this engineering parameters, process engineering parameters like VS loading rate, voltage solids reduction, biogas yield, size of the digester per meter cube per ton, like that, one side conventional, one here it is 5. It is 50, 50%, here 80%. HRD 60 days, here 15 to 13 days, depend upon the waste actually. Food waste, as well as 15 days also we can design the digester. And very compact digesters you can design, depending upon the requirements actually. Even a biogas digesters can be installed in apartments also, if it is 500 and 1 ton biogas digester. That's what we have done actually. And biogas yield depends on again the food waste, for example, 150 meter cube per ton, rice was 250 meter cube per ton, rice extra 300 meter cube per ton. So almost 3 to 5 times actually compared to our conventional digesters. And size of the digester 120 meter cube per ton, whereas 40 to 45. Here, 3 times less volume. So these are the advantages of digesters which were developed in Europe, which are being actually translated to India now. In fact, actually the exercise was done by company called Bima digesters. That is that is called actually one company in Belgium actually, I think. Belgium, I think it is in Bima digester, Austria, not Belgium, Austria. So one company, Entech, also took Entech, Austria. They started their operations in Entech in India, Madras. And 25 years back, actually, they started installing these Bima digesters based on solid waste plants. In India, there are 6 plants across India which are working, some of them are working, some of them are not working. And they came to India through this UNDP high-rate biomethanation scheme. UNDP and Ministry of New and Renewable Energy has funded them heavily, but partial success. That is one of the issues actually. That is the reason why I'm telling you have to be very careful in selecting the digester with respect to the characteristics of the waste. Okay, how the design depends on what are the various parameters of design. How we have to consolidate our design. For example, if you want to design a high-rate digester, so we have to look at very carefully what is the characteristics of it. For example, poultry litter. It contains calcium cells, sand and grease, low CBG ratio. Food waste, rapid acidification, varying sizes are there. It is not homogeneous, high CBG ratio. So, organic fraction of MSW very heterogeneous. And agriculture waste, high solids content, 80 to 90% solids content actually. And flowability is very poor, even if 10% or 15% solids also, flowability is very poor actually. So these are the considerations we have to very carefully look at. And CBG ratio is the one important parameter we have to look at very careful along with pH actually while deciding the digester. And conventional digester, we are getting low VS reduction, low methane yield, high HRD, low OLR, whereas high rate, we are exactly opposite, high VS reduction, high methane yield, low HRD, high OLR. And what are the critical factors we have to look at? What is the mixing, how to create mixing in the digester? What are the different patterns, hydrodynamics in the digester? Because the hydrodynamics of mixing varies from solid waste digester to liquid waste digesters. Because wastewater, we designed high-rate digesters, USB, fixed film reactor, fluidized bed reactor and all. Though hydrodynamics are different because it is the wastewater. Inside only inoculum is there, we are feeding wastewater only there. Whereas here we are feeding actually solid waste. So that is the hydrodynamics difference in the digester very carefully. So temperature, whether it is mesophilic or thermophilic, and CBN ratio, pH, buffering capacity, and staging. See, there are actually 4 stages involved in aerobic digestion. Whether you are making any stages or single stage it is, If so, what is with respect to characteristics, how it is suitable actually? These are the question marks you have to put yourself. And concentration of solids you have to maintain in the digester. Quality of seed culture, how you are seeding the digester. And reduction of active microbial consortia and quenching of stabilized solids from the digester. Understand all the parameters. Now, as I told you, see, anaerobic digestion, we have to understand very complex organic matter is through hydrolysis converted into soluble organic compounds, and through acidogenesis it is converted into volatile fatty acids, that is called carboxylic acids, alcohols, and H2S. And in these two processes happen acidogenesis and methanogenesis. In the acidogenesis, H2 and CO2 happen. Of course, it is intermediate step actually. And acetic acid forms in acetic can directly go to biogas and CH4. This is 70%. And H2 and CO2 also gets converted into methane. That is around 25 to 30%. So this is very important step. Intermediates, how intermediate forms, how fast they do, what is the pH considerations for like acidogenesis, what are the pH considerations for methanogenesis, and the rating step, what is the rate limiting step in between hydrolysis, acidosis, and acidogenesis, which is the rate limiting for the with respect to the characteristics of waste actually. We have to understand all these dynamics very well actually. So methanogenesis is very slower, acidogenesis is very faster. How to combine these two in one stage actually? Those are things we have to very careful. So understanding the AD process design, operation stage itself, designing stage itself is very critical for the best efficient operation of the plant actually. So, for example, like slowly biodegradable and easily biodegradable, depends on the waste. We can tell all these things very easily. We can just, who is expert in this, they can tell very easily. And nowadays, actually, as I told you, primarily our digesters are based on wet AD, wet anaerobic digestion, because people are maintaining around 10 to 10% solids, and they are designing CSIR designs. Some people without CSTR, simply they're actually recycling back the slurry, like conventional digester they are designing. I have seen in Punjab, so many plants are based on conventional design, but they keep recycling the slurry back. So that is how this design they are making the candidates. So, but primarily these are all wet anaerobic digestion, where only 10 to 12% slurry is maintained. Whereas actually we are getting in Europe, very famous digesters are emerging. They are called dry anaerobic digesters. Now I have seen some companies also entered into India because of this other program. They are also trying to promote. But I also wish that all these things, like entrepreneurs, they have to be very doubly careful. This dry anaerobic digestion simply copy paste in India will not work. How to indigenize these dry anaerobic digester for Indian conditions with respect to Indian waste? Those are the critical parameters everybody has to look at it actually. This needs, you need is in the initial stage, you need an experts who can understand all these things and suggest you actually. That is how the success can come actually. Just like that blind, you should not take it. So we have to be very careful. That's why now dry anaerobic are coming up, and monodigestion and co-digestion. For example, if you are taking agriculture waste, rice husk and rice ka, CBN ratio is very high. So we need co-digestion to maintain the CBN ratio in the ratio of 20 to 30. So how you will utilize actually. And for example, whatever the digested coming, can it be used for again manure directly? If the salability is poor, what we have to do? What are the other products we can make it from the digested? These are the thought process, because digest is now if there are 5,000 biogas plants, the market will be flooded with biomanure like anything. Despite the fact that government is giving so many actually future subsidies and encouragement and all these, it's going to be flooded like anything actually. Your entire economics depends upon the sale of CBG, sale of biomanure. That's why we have to look at very carefully. Co-digestion, so how to get the co-digestion substrate very cheaply, and what other, if the co-digestion is available, single substrate we have to do, what parameters I have to make, what are the nitrates, micronutrients I have to add. So many aspects you have to think very carefully actually. As I told you, so many important parameters, temperature, along with all these things, any inhibitions are, for example, recalcitrant compounds are there. Lignin is there. If it's not digested, what will come to the digested? Whether it is useful for the manure or not. What will happen to the digester during the lignin? So these are the understandings one should have, very important. Like nutrients availability, so many aspects you have to understand all these things. Then only you can design a very good biogas digester. So, in fact, actually, I have
Rao sir, due to the small constraint on this one, we'll take more deeper things on the question and answer. So you are the amount of information you are sharing, it is very difficult for us to absorb everything in a single session. So I request you to.
I go quickly.
Yes,
Maybe
sir.
I'm available up to 3:30 only, sir. I have to go out again, but I'll go quickly within 5 minutes. I'll finish it. Then you can take questions and answers. Yeah. So one more thing important. Now people are doing biomethanation potential. That has to be done very carefully. Because now Napier grass people are working. There are 100 variety of Napier grasses. And the crop, like, for example, harvest period, so many aspects are involved. CBN ratio is varying, depending on the harvest period and all these things. Biomethanation potential is varying actually, and dry matter is varying. All these things you have to understand. Perfectly we have to do biomethanation mental repeated tests we have to do. Duplicates we have to do, understand the biomethanation potential. That is what I want to tell. And another thing is that so many people are actually suggesting pre-treatments. So many very different biological pre-treatment, hydrolysis, acid hydrolysis, thermal hydrolysis, alkaline thermal hydrolysis, so many aspects. These are comes at a cost, not cheap actually. And with respect to the treatment, how much biogas you are enhancing, what are the energy, what are the cost considerations, what is the net energy you are getting ultimately? Those are the things also we have to take into consideration. So that's why in wholesome actually pH, critical parameters, solid concentrations, organic VS loading rate, hydraulic resistance, VFA alkalinity ratio, temperature, and type of substrate and causation CBN ratio. So one very sentence on all lectures I'll tell, design a biogas plant may not be rocket science, but operation and maintenance is greater than that. This sentence always I tell in my all seminars, because this is the experience what I learned over a period of 30 years while operating the Biodigester. It is not easy. It is really tricky, and we have to be like we have to learn the art of it. So again, people are telling, most of the biodigesters, what I understand is that CCH1 is 55 to 60% we are getting. Because I visited Reliance plants also. Reliance is visiting 30 plants across India. So they are getting 55% only methane actually. So biogas purification is another factor which is considering 40% of the capital cost actually. Then what technology you are selecting for that? Can you improve the methane content in the digesters by better means actually, so that your capital cost and upper cost and biogas purification can be reduced? These are the questions to be asked actually. So that's why what I can say, opportunity, there are opportunities in CBG plants actually, but waste management also becomes a very good boon with this actually. Revenues from biogas and biofertilizer are very good actually. Employment generation is very good actually, and GHG gas reduction, carbon credits, net zero, and Satat program is a wonderful program I can say actually. And decarbonization can be in a faster way. We can do it actually in this actually the carbon neutral technology, biogas technology. So there are challenges with respect to the feedstocks because seasonal variability, logistic challenges, lack of consistent supply, high costs of feedstock collection and transportation, and technological barriers like energy intensive technology. As I told you, this operation cost is very high. High operation cost actually, limited availability of advanced technology for efficient feedstock processing, and financial viability also we have to look at it actually varies from feedstock to feedstock actually. And further penetration, because CBG, entire CBG cannot sold for only for CNG replacement. It has to go to the industry also. It has to go to the LPG replacement also. It has to go to the LDO replacement also. That avenues, and we need a gas grid actually. So these are the avenues we are important. And people should be interested with certain how to get carbon credit, so that these entrepreneurs are encouraged to get additional revenue. These are the things actually. So as an student, there are 150 biogas plants operational under Satat program, as I know from the Satat actually. And we are about to put around 5,000 plants by some 2030, something like that actually. Means approximately 600 plants annually we have to put. It is achieving 5,000 plants by 2000 is almost ambitious but positive holistic approach. And we have to develop skilled manpower also. That is also very, very important. See, if it's organization like IFGE and IICTs, IITs, they have got the responsibility to develop very good manpower for this, skilled manpower, these plants also. There is very great responsibility. So I end this lecture at this juncture because I don't want to cross the time limits actually. But I can answer questions because 3:30 I had to go for some other, in fact it's already 3:34. 5-10 minutes I can answer some questions.
Sir, what we'll do, your question specific to you, we will collect over IOCL email ID, and Nidhi will collect and send it to
Yes,
you
sir.
through WhatsApp, and
Yes, sir.
they will, yeah, it will be done. Actually, Mr. Gangagni Rao had some personal commitment, so he had to leave. And we're extremely thankful that amid your schedule, you could make it and enlighten us. Thank you, sir. We all will be in touch with
Thank you
you, and all
once
the
again,
questions
Shashi.
will be directly coming to you, sir.
Yeah, thank you, Shashi sir, Ramakrishna sir, and all the management of IFGE, and especially Nidhi Sahu. Thank you so much, sir. Bye bye, all of you.
Thank you, sir. Now I request Santosh Gondhalekar. Probably many people know him. Every agri residue has multiple component. One is starch, carbohydrate, what we call, and proteins, and there is something called which is a fiber. So Santosh ji has done tremendous research, and that way we are on a common platform, because Hycons also is working on a lignocellulosic thing. But Santosh ji, I request you to keep it at 10 minutes. Yes, thank you.
May I share my screen so that I made
It is visible, sir. It is visible.
Okay. Is it okay? You can see the screen.
Yes, you can.
Yeah. Good afternoon, and I thank IFGE for providing the opportunity to share whatever experiments and research that we are doing for last about 20 years with the esteemed viewers. So I'll just go fast in my presentation. It's an agrogas technology that has been developed by Primove Engineering Private Limited, Pune, and our pilot plant is located at Pirangut at Pune only. We have concentrated ourselves in developing CBG from second generation feedstocks. So I'll go through it's absolutely inventive and innovative Swadeshi based technology. It's out of box thinking thought process that we have been developed across. Initial slides I'll just go through. But when we say bioenergy, we have to effectively substitute petrol, diesel, industrial oils, fuels like coal, fuel oil, and LDO. And it is not only the small quantity that we are looking at replacement and substitution, but India consumes about 250 million tons of crude oil every year. And out of that, we are importing about 2010 million tons of crude oil. So the net import value is 15 lakh crore or more. So our target is to substitute this huge quantity of energy, that is when we want to become Urja Atmanirbhar Bharat. When we say our criteria of success, we spelled out in 4 different key criteria. One, it should be technically feasible, it should be economically viable. Also, nowadays, it should be environmentally sustainable and also socially acceptable. But first 2 criteria, that is technical feasibility and economical viability, are very, very promising criteria that needs to be satisfied. I'll go directly to the solution and the process that we are developing. So our idea is to produce biogas based on lignocellulosic material. When we say lignocellulosic, it is cellulose, hemicellulose, and lignin. These three molecules, which are highest quantity of these molecules, biomolecules, are available on the earth. They are the cheapest in price, hardly throwaway price. Indirectly in Punjab, farmers say you take away rice straw and stubble, whatever they are, otherwise they will burn it. So it's a very relatively cheaply available. Though today it is cheaply available, it may have a price later. So it's agro residue either, or energy farming with Napier grass, that also we can do. And lignocellulosic biomass is available across the world. So wherever the solar radiation is there, wherever it rains, the grass grows. And so this, if we based our technology based on this lignocellulosic biomass, then it will be replicable across the world. So as I said, it may be the agro residue like stubble burning in Punjab, or it can be a energy farming like Napier grass cultivation in all other parts of the country. When biogas is produced, now henceforth, I'll directly go to the technology that we have developed. normal biogas production process. It's a microbial process, and it goes under 4 chronological steps. First is hydrolysis, second is acidogenesis, third is acetogenesis, and fourth is methanogenesis. In hydrolysis, whatever starch, sugar, protein, fat, cellulose, hemicellulose, and even lignin, they are converted into sugars. In acidogenesis, whatever sugars are there been converted in hydrolysis process are converted to acids like acetic acid, propionic acid, butyric acid, and all volatile fatty acids. In acetogenesis process, all these acids are converted to specific acetate only, that is CH3COOH. So acetogen convert all acids into acetate, and methanogens, they only consume acetic acid, and they convert it into CO2 and CH4. But out of all these 4 stages, hydrolysis, that is converting all these biomass, cellulose into glucose, or hemicellulose into glucose, or even fats into glucose, it is the bottleneck in all these 4 stages. So today when we say second generation biofuel, it is the hydrolysis that has become the bottleneck. And whatever rice straw or wheat straw or cotton straw or bamboo we put in the digester comes out undigested as is, because hydrolysis doesn't take place. So we said the actually bottleneck of the biogas industry is at the hydrolysis stage. What actually is innovative in agrogas technology? So basically this hydrolysis is done by the enzymes available, been produced by the bacteria. So when we have a cellulase enzyme, it converts cellulose into glucose. In say lipase, lipids, it converts lipids into glucose. So here enzymes are the only chemical molecules that convert all these molecules of cellulose, hemicellulose, I'll talk specifically about lignocellulosic biomass, into glucose. And who produces this enzyme? It is only the bacteria that can produce this enzyme. No other, not even humans, nor even cows, no one can produce this cellulase enzyme. It is only bacteria that produce these enzymes. And so our formula was very simple. If we have more bacteria, more enzymes will be produced and more biogas will be produced. So the bottleneck of all biogas production is at the hydrolysis stage, and we have more enzymes and more, so more bacteria will produce more enzymes and will produce more. So we put our target that we have to increase the bacterial population in the digester from say 10 lakh per milliliter to 10 crore per milliliter. That is about 10 raised to 6 bacteria per milliliter to 10 raised to 8 bacteria per milliliter. So if we can increase the bacterial count to 100 times, then they will take care of all other parameters. So more biogas will be produced. Also, now we increase the reaction kinetics of the process. So we started working in the thermophilic temperature range, that is 55, 56 degree temperature. And effectively, when bacterial count was increased and temperature was also increased, we got absolutely phenomenal biogas yields. So normally from 100 tons of say rice straw on total solid content, it yields about 7 to 8 tons of CBG or 9 tons of CBG on total solids, where here we got more than 15 tons of CBG per 100 tons of rice straw on total solid basis. And also as we increase the temperature, we can comfortably increase the organic loading rate. So ranging from 2 kg per cubic meter to we can increase to 8 kg per cubic meter. And it all happens because it's a number game. More the bacteria, more the enzymes, and more the biogas, and more the biogas yield, and more the throughput as well. Based on all this theory, we know antibiotics. So when our stomach becomes upset, we take antibiotics. But here we have to grow bacteria. We call it probiotics of biomethanation. And it's absolutely the mathematics of biomethanation that we worked out. So there is something called geometry of biomethanation. So what is the size of say enzyme? What is the size of bacteria? What is the size of glucose? We call it all these as a geometry of biomethanation. Then there are numbers like HRT, SRT, total solids, temperature, maybe mesophilic or thermophilic. These numbers we call it algebra of biomethanation. And we evolve the equations of biomethanation. So if you have so much number of bacteria and if you have something called the temperature range and HRT, then you will get the maximum biogas production. So we worked out on these equations of biomethanation. We do measure the distance between two bacteria, distance between glucose molecule and bacteria, and all other things. And to grow bacteria, we feed NPK, the nutrients required for bacteria to grow. And the inventive process is we actually oxygenate the slurry. So we take out part of the slurry outside the digester. We actually purge oxygen, the pure oxygen or a PSA based oxygen, and actually we oxygenate the slurry, because when bacteria need to grow and divide, when we want to grow the bacteria, energy is required, and oxygen acts as an electron transfer media where it can increase the number. So effectively we parade the bacteria. So we have absolute control over the bacterial count, and we get the maximum result. So at our small pilot plant in Piramgut, Pune, all experiments are successfully completed. But we are at this juncture, as on today we are talking in this workshop. So, but the final commercial application is under trial. It is in the final commercial trials are in progress. Agrogas technology, we have partnered with Thermax company. We are working projects with Ever-Enviro, Adani and Reliance. We are working on different second generation feedstock like rice straw, napier grass, soybean trash, sugarcane, bagasse, mustard straw. Our technology is feedstock agnostic. As far as it is cellulose, our bacteria convert it into biogas. And cellulose may come from rice straw, wheat straw, mustard straw, or any of the other biomolecules. So it's feedstock agnostic technology that we have developed. The commercial stage, commercial demonstration, already the plant is commissioned. It is in the first getting fully commissioned. So our first commercial trial will be completed by March, about 2 months later, by 31st of March 2025. And we'll have a 90 days of endurance. And if we can achieve by June end, the live commercial demonstration of this technology, the whole bottleneck of hydrolysis and the economics, everything will be resolved. The OPEX will be almost half because throughput will be doubled. Also, the CAPEX will be less because we have very high OLR that it can absorb. So almost the size of the digester or number of digester may be reduced to half. The yield will be more, and we will have higher IRR comfortably beyond 20 or 25 IRR would be possible. So we believe that it's a complete energy shift from hydrocarbon to carbohydrates. So biomass, whatever, if we can crack this code of hydrolysis using higher quantity of bacteria, we can get a breakthrough in the CBG sector, which is now getting developed. And so agro residue and energy farming will be the biomass, and the biogas and CBG will be our end product. Thank you for considering listening.
Thank you, sir. We are talking about efficiency, and you have demonstrated with your timekeeping also. You exactly took 10 minutes. Thank you for that. Because every minute we respect from the participant and the panel here. So every minute counts. So now I call upon, we had a very good talk from one from the completely the university and the research perspective, and Santosh ji with the pilot level plant. Now we are moving on to a real scale, very large digester and a very large operation in Namakkal, which belongs to IAV Biogas. This is probably around 10 to 12 years old biogas projects, which is very beautiful. I call on Mr. M.K. Kamaraj ji to talk about the practical realities of the biogas. Welcome,
Thank
sir.
you. Thank you, sir. Thank you, Shashi. Am I audible?
Yes, you are audible and visible.
Yeah. Thank you so much. I need to stop my video. I have a poor bandwidth here. So Shall we start now?
Yes, please, sir. At least you give me back the stage 2 minutes before 5 o'clock. So you have around 8
Yeah.
minutes. Yes.
Sure, sir. I'll try to complete before that.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Nidhi, you can. Yeah. Thanks. So this is our basic features of our plant. As Shashi ji mentioned, it's a 12-year plant. We started as a power plant, and from 2020 onwards, we are into CBG business. So ours is a wet fermentation plant, and our digester is a CSIR model. Our prominent raw material is press mud. Sorry. Okay. Okay. Ours is a 10 TB plant. We can able to produce 25,000. Currently, we are operating 70% capacity. That is 7 tons per day. We are dispatching. Next slide, please. So we are operating under SADAT as well as CBG CGD synchronization scheme. So currently under SADAT there are 8 outlets, and CBG CGD synchronization there are 8 outlets. Other than that, we are supplying to various industrial and hotels for as a cooking fuel. Next slide, please. Next slide, please. Yes, sir. For the better efficiency of digesters, certain things has to be monitored regularly, and certain things has to be considered while the design phase itself. So one of the parameter has to be taken care of is your feedstock management. So if you talk about feedstock, yes, feedstock selection is very important. What are the biomasses you are going to use for biogas generation? That is very important. And also feedstock analysis also plays a vital role. You have to understand your feedstock. Then only you can able to produce your intended level of gas. When you talk about gas analysis, means feedstock analysis, for example, we are using press mud as a prominent raw material. So when you are using agricultural residue as your raw material, there is always possibility of these natural polymers like lignin, cellulose. So that complex fibers definitely challenge your anaerobic digestion part. So if you need to break down these complex fibers, you have to taken care of your pre-treatment process. You have to select appropriate pre-treatment process so that this complex fibers can be it will help us your microbial breakdown, your pre-treatment process. Secondly, whether you're using a single raw material or you are using your co-digestive plant, so it's always better to use multiple feedstock so that you'll get the balanced nutrient content for your biogas generation. And also, as mentioned, pre-treatment feedstock is very important in case of agricultural waste studying, grinding. That helps you your fermenting process. That help you to biodegrade your biomasses. And also, you should avoid contaminants in your feedstock like harmful chemicals, plastics, non-organic materials. That should be taken care of. That will help you to improve your gas generation. Next slide, please. Next slide, please.
There is some kind of problem. Just
Am I audible now?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. You're audible. Yeah.
Yeah, you can change the slide.
Yeah.
So everybody is aware temperature control is very important, especially during the winter session. Your temperature fluctuation affects your gas generation. So continuous temperature control is also a major part of biogas generation. Next slide, please. So proper mixing, we are aware, proper mixing creates a homogeneous substrate mixtures that allows microorganisms have direct contact with the substrate, and also it prevents scum, reduces precipitation. So proper mixings ensures even distribution of microorganisms throughout the digester. So always proper mixing should be ensured for high level of biogas generation. It can be a mechanical or hydraulic, but you have to ensure the proper mixing. pH levels also has to be maintained to be precise. It has to be maintained between 7 to 8, because lower the pH, there will be acidification of digesters. That should be avoided. And also, pH imbalances can reduce your biogas generation, because bacteria in the digesters is sensitive towards pH. So you have to maintain the pH within the allowable limit. Otherwise, even pH imbalances can produce this hazardous H2s also. So you have to maintain the pH level within the limit. You can skip this slide. Yes, hydraulic filtration is a very vital parameter in order to get the intended gas production. So we have to give enough time to complete the feedstock digestion. Otherwise, there will be not proper digestion. That in turn will reduce your gas productions. So ideally, we have to give time to complete the feedstock direction. Also, the growth of the microorganisms also depend upon this hydraulic detention period. For example, our plant has 36 days as a hydraulic detention period, but it varies depend upon biomass you are having. So, if you have easily biodegradable biomasses, then your hydraulic retention period may be less than 30 days also. If you are using press mud, especially, then you have to give sufficient HRT to biodegrade of these biomasses. So nowadays, we are getting so many inoculation, like various cultures to increase various bacteria, especially the methanogens. So methanogens, for example, in the last stage, we have a lot of CO2 that can be again converted into methane by introducing this inoculation. So as we are part of IOCL R&D department, we are using various, we have tested various inoculum, and we have improved our methane percentage from 60 to even 67%. Yeah, this is a very important parameter. So you should not overload your digester. That should be taken care of. Your organic loading rate should be optimal, because the biogas digester can be overloaded when the amount of organic matter fed to it exceeds the microbial ability. So because microbes also has the ability to degrade biomasses, we should not exceed it. So because what will happen if you overload the digester, then actually your pH level will decrease, and VFA, volatile fatty acid, will increase. That will create your digester acidification. That reduces even life of your digester. So overloading not only reduce your production, it even it affects the stability of your digester. And also, as Ramakrishna rightly mentioned, your organic loading rate also should be optimal. Should not exceed. Means it should be very optimal. You should correctly decide your OLR so that you will get your gas in a sustainable manner. Regular maintenance also very important, because timely cleaning of your digester is also very vital to get the intended biogas generation. Because over the period, what will happen? There will be a settlement. So once its settlement happens, it will reduce your HRT. So indirectly, directly it will affect your gas productions. And also cleaning gives you time for your asset integrity, to check your asset integrity. Even you can carry out necessary maintenance during your cleaning process. So right now in IFGE we are cleaning the digester every 5 years, where we are doing all the repair works so that we can extend the life of the digesters. So the continuous monitoring is the essential thing. You have to monitor all your digester parameters, right from the VS, TS, pH, CN ratio, everything you have to monitor it, and accordingly you take appropriate corrective measures so that your register life can be extended. Thanks. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you, sir. Now I request a couple of questions to come up so that we can have an interaction for probably 2 to 3 minutes. Some of the pre-populated questions were already answered on the chat box. Is there any questions? Yeah, among the pre-populated, I see that a couple of things were like what is the cost of biogas and those things. And since we are talking about the efficiency of the biogas, I would say that the efficiency depends on the micronutrient and the carbon, nitrogen, sulfur, uh, phosphate levels. So this can change feedstock to feedstock. There will be certain deficiencies, just like any other animal or human digest the things and absorb the nutrients. Similar way, the microbiology works. So probably Nidhi is the right person with a very good knowledge about the micronutrient part. You can always get in touch with her. Is there any other specific question? We can take it to the panelists. Sanjay sir, if you are there, I would like to call
Yeah.
you for taking it forward, and
Yeah.
thank you for this opportunity.
Shashi ji, thank you. Actually, IFG and particularly CBG Producers Forum under IFG has been quite active in the space of CBG, right from the policy formulation or on issues with respect to their business viability and things like that. The forum has been quite active. We have regular interactions with industry, government, and all other stakeholders uh, based on which we plan our activities. So we have been organizing many programs on IFG's platform, CBG Producers Forum platform, including conferences, seminars, and exhibitions in physical space. But at the same time, we thought that there are certain topics which need not be discussed in not necessarily in a conference room or a seminar room. And these are very short topics which can be of smaller duration, maybe 1 hour, 2 hours time, that we can take up on the online platforms. So that is how the CBG dialogue series started. We are also organizing similar dialogue series in different segments of, bioenergy, also including biomass, including, carbon capture, biodiesel, and other things. So today's topic was also in the same series, one more episode in that series, and I think the topic was quite interesting in the sense that we only have the CBG history is I think less than 3 or 4 years old, where organized compressed biogas plants of big capacities have been installed. So there will definitely be learning experiences from different project developers, and there will be many who are interested to invest and get into this sector at this stage. So the plant efficiency is extremely important for them. The learning experiences, particularly on the operation side, is also extremely important for people who are, in this sector now and those who are planning to come into this sector. So that is how we thought we should have a specific topic called biodigesters, sustainability and efficiency, which can probably educate people about what the technical, functions and feasibilities should be for an efficient biodigester. So I thank all participants who have spared their time and attended this webinar. I also thank Mr. A.G. Rao, Dr. A.G. Rao. He is the Chief Scientist and Professor in Engineering Sciences and Chair, Department of Energy and Environmental Engineering, CSIR, IICT, Pune. So for joining us, though he had to, go for another meeting, so he joined us for, to make his presentation. So I thank him. I also thank Mr. Santosh Gondhalekar ji. Santosh ji has been a close associate of IFGE right from the day it was started. It started, so he must be a kind of a founder member of IFGE. So he has been always, there for any sort of this kind of an intervention or in sort of this kind of a, program. He is always there. I also thank Mr. M.K. Kamaraj, Chief Plant Manager, IAV Biogas Private Limited. And I also thank Mr. Atul Kharate. He is a dear friend and also a founder member of IFGE for, giving us this access to Mr. Kamaraj for his wonderful presentation and enlightening, presentations we had today, particularly on the technical aspects. So the knowledge was quite enriching. I also thank Ramakrishna ji. He is our mentor. He is our chairman of CBG Producers Forum. He is our senior vice president of IFG. And, an old hand, as Shashi ji always says, that I think we can call him Bhisham Pitama of this sector, who has formulated bioenergy policy for, sparing his time and joining this, webinar. Shashi ji, a very good friend and a very, what you call, इसको हिंदी में हितैषी कहते हैं of IFG CBG Producers Forum, a well-wisher. So he is always a great help for moderating this, webinar very nicely. So thank you, Shashi ji, again. And thank you, my colleagues also, Nidhi, who has really worked hard to put things together. It was it was her concept. She comes from this background. She's a PhD from NERI, and she is quite, technically very strong in this area. And I also thank my other colleagues from IFG and all participants once again for sparing their time and joining through this conference. I will again make this announcement in the end, those who were not able to, those who have, joined later, that IFG is organizing a workshop. It will be a very day-long workshop from 10 o'clock to 5 p.m. on 17th of this month at India Habitat Center. It will be very enlightening and it will be really a value for money in terms of value for your time, because we are covering all aspects of CBG production with respect to its commercial viability, with respect to various policies which government has announced or are planning to announce on pricing, on FOM, on feedstocks, on grid connectivity. So it will be a very day long brainstorming and also information dissemination platform. So I request all of you to please join that. We have very limited seats because we are inviting only the project developers in there, in that webinar, in that seminar, workshop, I must say. So please please register as early as possible, and you can get those links from Nidhi for registration. And I thank you once again, and we see you in the next CBG dialogue very soon. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, everyone. And thank you, sir, Shashi sir, and these speakers. And now I am closing this webinar. Thank you all.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you, sir.